Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mayhem Tainment. This is our 2025 Halloween special. This is actually the finale of our 2025 Halloween series. Friday, we are going to talk about Friday the 13th, the entire franchise, and I am being joined by our resident horror specialist, Mayhem Ecto, and who is also our graphic artist, and the Media Maverick himself, Mike Weldon. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
What's going on, JD?
Just going pretty much nonstop. You know how we work around here, Mike. You've been with us long enough to know that we're going nonstop.
We fly by the seat of our pants.
Pedal the floor all the time.
Yep.
Mike, I'm sorry. Hi, Mike. I'm sorry. It's been a long day. Marcus Frederiksen does the music. Make sure you check him out, reverbnation.com/Marcus Frederiksen, and share out your favorite song. I like all of his music, and that's why we have kick-ass entrances, intros, and outros to our shows, because all of his shows all of his music is just excellent. So just want to tell everybody to go check out his music.
Yes,
and
some
check
awesome
out the
music.
storefront. What, Mike?
I was saying it's some awesome music.
Oh, yes, it is. It's absolutely, it absolutely is. Check out the storefront, bonfire.com/store/Mayhem Media shop. The the old Halloween apparel from last year is up on the storefront currently. The new logo for Halloween that Robbie made us. I don't know that I'm gonna be able to put it on apparel, not without it really messing up or being like one of those things where it's like a sticker that's stuck on the shirt. I'm not really happy about that. So, I don't think the Jason one, I'm sorry, Ecto, but the Jason one I don't know is going to make it to apparel.
That's all good, boy.
Make sure you go check out the storefront, buy some stuff. That always supports us. And make sure you hit the like button and leave some comments while we're shooting this. I'm trying to get it shared out and do the intro all at the same time. So that's why I'm kind of all over the place.
If you want an easier way to go to the Mayhem storefront, just check out that QR code that's in your upper left-hand corner.
Yes, absolutely. And that is why I'm not going to be able to, I can't sort through these things to try and share out the episode right now. It's just going to have to wait. Hopefully people are just tuned to the show and find us, and that's good. Oh, there's the Wolfman. The Wolfman's also tuned in. Thank you, Wolfman. He's part of the Mayhem family. Thank you very much for tuning in and leaving a comment for us there. Please share it out. All right, guys. So we're going to talk about Friday the 13th. This is our finale of the Halloween special. We always theme our Halloween around something. It's usually whatever the franchise was. The first year we did this was we did Halloween, or the Halloween franchise, as per Ecto's request. He's a big Michael Myers fan. And then last year, because I'm a big Freddy Krueger fan, we did that. And of course, this rounds out the big three, and we're going to talk about the Friday the 13th franchise here. So what do you guys think about the franchise as a whole?
Me and Ecto were talking about this before we went live. He's a Michael Myers guy. I'm a Jason guy. I love the Friday the 13th franchise.
Yeah, so you're a big fan of it?
I am. I dressed up 2 years in a row as Jason for Halloween.
That's interesting. Robbie, what about you? Are you Obviously, we know you're a big Halloween guy, but where are you at on the whole, like, kind of franchise as a whole here?
I have a new appreciation for it. Just say that. I was never a big fan of the films. Jason himself is badass. I think he's cool. Like I've stated in previous shows, I'm not into the unnecessary nudity and all that crap. So that's kept me away from a lot of the Jason stuff. I have kids. If I know it's going to be in a movie, I won't even turn it on. But after rewatching them again, and I watch them just about every year around this time because it's free on each streaming app or whatever.
Me too.
But watching them, the story is not bad. I mean, it's not just a hack and slash and
the origins.
It's done very well.
Yeah, and I just realized that I don't have any of the stuff for the remakes for Rob Zombie's. Oh no, that wasn't Friday the 13th. Yeah, but I don't have any.
That was Halloween. Friday the 13th had a remake in 2007, which was actually really good. That was probably at one time my favorite Friday the 13th movie.
You know what? I don't think I actually seen the remake. I completely didn't think to even watch the remake. I completely forgot about it. So that's definitely on my bad on that one. Well,
I liked how they're making him more big, more like broad and taller, kind of Frankenstein-ish. That's what I like about the new Jason.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope to get back to the original story because the original story is actually a good story, as you were saying. So let's talk about our favorite. Which one of these is our favorite Jason movies? I'm going to go with part 3. And we're going to talk a little bit about why a little bit later on. So I'm going to save that. But what about you guys then? Do you guys have a favorite Friday the 13th?
Well, mine is not a standalone of Jason. It is. I might be in the minority here, but I like when Jason and Freddy, it's Jason versus Freddy, when they did that. It's like you brought together 2 iconic slashers to see which one would rule.
So then, since you brought it up, Robbie, before we get to your pick on the favorite Friday the 13th, let's just talk about it since you brought us up. Good or bad movie, Freddy versus Jason? Robbie, you just said, Mike, you like it. So let's see if Robbie, what are your thoughts on Freddy v. Jason?
It was okay for its time. Anytime you do a so-and-so versus so-and-so, there's never a winner. I mean, you do Batman versus Superman, Alien versus Predator. I mean, it's all the same. It's just eye candy. And they did eye candy very well on Jason versus Freddy. It's just, for some reason, after watching it, I always feel like it's lacking something. And I just don't know what it is. Maybe story, maybe it was some lazy writing. I don't know. Something just didn't click right.
I will say that they did really try to make it a story. I will say that they did try, but it is lacking. It's lacking. But isn't that the problem? Isn't that the problem, though, Robbie, with some of these movies, though, is that because they're slashers, a lot of the main characters are going to die. So, like in that one, it was hard to really. No offense, Freddy and Jason were the stars in that movie. So in that particular movie, it's hard to give a crap about the innocent people who are running around getting slaughtered because that's why we tuned in to watch.
But that's the crazy part is if you watch Friday the 13th, part 1, all right, it starts off showing this chick hitchhiking. So automatically you're like, this is the main chick. This is the final person.
Yeah.
Right. And she dies within the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And she was likable. You understand what I'm saying? She was pretty. So it was somebody that you're like, yeah, I can watch this all day long. And then the final girl ends up being a plain Jane, which honestly worked better.
Yeah.
But I mean, you don't really get to know very many characters when it comes to the Friday 13th series in the first place. The only person that you really know is Tommy Jarvis, which is Corey Feldman's character, because he's played as the child and then he grows up and he's in other movies. But anybody else is just there.
Yeah. You're
And the
absolutely right
crazy
about
old man that was warning people, he was in a couple of them, then he gets killed.
Yeah, and Wes Craven did that. Not that Wes Craven does the Jasons, he doesn't. He does the Freddy movies, but Wes Craven also did that in the first Scream movie with Drew Barrymore, starting the movie with her. And you think, oh, Drew Barrymore, sweet.
And she was big on the case and everything. I mean, you were like,
yeah, like they really sold it as a Drew Barrymore movie. So I think, and then she, gets dead in the first opening scene, and you're like, what is happening? Mike, what are your thoughts on that?
Like when they put a big name actress or actor on the and make them look like they're going to be one of the main characters, and just you kill them off in the first 10, 15 minutes. It's like, why'd you make them look like they're going to be the standout, the sole survivor?
Yeah, you're saying you don't understand why?
I not at the first. I did like you draw people in. Oh, you think they're going to be the person that
I can see that. I mean, I
survives,
can see that.
But then it's going to be some other person that you get to know in the movie.
Yeah,
well, the biggest reason for Scream, just Scream as a movie, is because they want you to guess the entire time on screen. I'm not a Scream fan, but I appreciate where Scream went.
I love Scream.
The strategy to use Drew Barrymore as the main character on the case, and everybody knows who she is, and she gets killed at the beginning of the movie. The rest of the movie, you're questioning everything you see. So that's why Scream did it. And I thought it was genius, even though I don't care for the movies.
Wes Craven is genius. And a little side fact, I don't know if you guys know this, or maybe our viewers don't know it either, but Drew Barrymore actually was supposed to be, she was cast as the main actress. She was supposed to be the Neve Campbell, the Sidney Prescott of the movie. But I believe I don't know what movie she was doing, but there was a scheduling conflict with another movie. I want to say it was 50 First Dates with Adam Sandler, but I can't be 100% sure of that. I don't know what movie it was that she was shooting instead. But so she ended up not being able to do that, but she wanted to be in the movie so bad. And Wes Craven wanted her also to be in the movie so bad. So he did. He rewrote the opening sequence to have Drew Barrymore be the one who was killed first, so she could still be in the movie. So there's that. I think it was a combination of Wes Craven, but also the circumstances that led to that kind of an opening, which I think is just great. As you said, Robbie, they do it in the in one of the Friday the 13th, and it's great because you're following. You're like, okay, this is who we're following. This is the character, and then they're dead, and you're like, what is going on now? Because as soon as the person you think is the main character, as soon as they get wiped off the map. And I use a Steven Seagal movie.
Did we lose JD?
Can you guys hear? No, Michael, we're here. Did you lose him?
I can see fine.
Yeah, we're fine, Mike.
I can't hear JD. I can't hear him.
You should probably.
I can hear him fine.
Yeah, leave and come back in and see if that changes anything. We're having a few StreamYard issues tonight. It happens from time to time. They're adding
Try leaving and coming back in, bud.
Oh, I can hear. It's fine now.
Oh, okay. Good. StreamYard's adding new features, and some of them are definitely conflicting with the programming, and so that's why StreamYard is having a few issues. It's not, it's something that we're just going to have to, deal with for a little bit until they work out some of the issues. It's not super bad. It's only occasionally, so we're just going to keep rolling with it. So I don't know where I was, so let's move on to something else. Unless Mike.
All right, so you were asking the favorite of the movies.
Oh yeah, Robbie, let's go back to you and your favorite of the Friday the 13th.
All right, so mine's a mix between two, because to me you got two different Jasons. You have the alive Jason and dead Jason. So my favorite alive Jason movie is The Final Chapter, which I believe is like 4, if I'm not mistaken. There's too many of them. But 5. This is the one, 5. Okay. So this is the one with Corey Feldman as a kid. It's always been my favorite one. It's where Jason honestly dies. And it's great. But it's kind of a tie with Jason Lives, which is like number 6 or 7. But that's when he comes back as the Revenant, where Tommy Jarvis, which is Corey Feldman's character, but he's grown, it's a different actor. He stabs the metal pole through Jason's chest while he's laying in the grave. Lightning strikes, he comes up, he has maggots coming off of him and everything. And that's the Jason that most people think of when they think of Jason Voorhees, is the Living Dead Jason. And that was pretty close. I mean, I can't choose between the two.
Since we're talking about favorites, which has been y'all's least favorite Jason movie?
Oh, let's get to that in just a second. I'm sorry, we're gonna come back to that because I got something to say about that. Unfortunately, I didn't get the other visual. I only got one of them, but there's definitely going to be a discussion on the worst one for sure. Okay, so but I want to, before we get to that, Mike, I'm sorry, I want to talk about the earlier Jasons first. And because you all know, in the first Friday the 13th, Jason is not the killer, right?
Right, it's Pamela Voorhees.
Yes. Spoiler alert, it is not Jason. And Jason does not make his debut until the second one. And I want to ask you guys, do you think is Jason getting off of his mother and have Jason replace? What do you think about that? Was that obvious? I mean, we know how it helped the series and stuff, but what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I think that the first Friday 13th would have been great as a standalone film, never having a remake. It would have been a classic. It would have been up there with the Hitchcock movies, in my opinion, because that's one of the biggest surprise is seeing that this older lady is the killer the whole time. And there's hints throughout the movie, not that it's her, but it's somebody that they would trust, like the way they react. It's not like they're like screaming in horror as soon as they see them. They're trying to explain themselves when they see the person, like it's a person of authority.
Yeah.
So I think they did it great. I think the first Friday 13th actually had me scared of old folks for the longest time when I was little. And it could have been a standalone film. But in a way, Jason Voorhees, as we know it, ruins the first movie because it's so much more iconic than good, if that makes sense.
That's
like the first movie was good. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Jason himself and his presence is iconic.
Yeah, it is.
And sometimes the movies aren't good compared to the icon that is Jason. But the first one stands alone as a good film.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. And I want everybody to understand that is something that doesn't happen very often between Robbie and myself. We do not ordinarily agree on a number of different. If we have an agreement one time in an episode, that we're happy with that. So we're
winners.
Yeah, we're winners. We're winners tonight because I think we've agreed. This is the second time I think we've agreed, actually. Mike, what are your thoughts? I mean, obviously, it was the only way to keep the franchise going, but the what if factor, I guess, what I'm asking about.
Well, as I've already said, I'm Friday the 13th. Jason movies, they are my favorite slasher film. But the Jason that debuted and the Jason we know, like with the back, like he debuted with the bat, like the bag over his head. Yep. Like no one thinks of that Jason now. They all the burlap sack. They don't think of that Jason. The Jason everyone thinks of now is the iconic hockey mask.
Let's go right into that then, Mike. If that's
and it was an accident.
Let's talk
the mask
about
itself was an accident.
Yeah, yes, he gets it in the third movie. That's where he gets it, is in the third movie. And my question is, did Jason's mask make the franchise?
Yes. I think it did. And I mean, I just think it's great because it was an accident. One of the cast members actually just had the hockey mask sitting inside their vehicle. And they're like, what could we use to make this look good? Kind of like when they were looking for Michael Myers mask and used William Shatner's face. Yeah. And I mean, they just used the hockey mask and went with it. And who would have ever thought to put a hockey mask with a flannel shirt or a dark-looking button-up shirt? Because, I mean, what's intimidating about that? But they were able to do it.
Yeah. Mike?
I'll say, or like in Freddy versus Jason, like he's not even wearing it's like he's just wearing a big, heavy jacket, like a heavy-duty jacket. and with the machete.
And I like that look better than most of the Jasons. The thing I like about Jason and Jason's Lives is because it almost looks like the jumpsuit from Michael Myers. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's so wet and dark. But you can see like rib cages and like his spine coming out the back and the detail of that stuff. That's the reason I like that look of Jason. But the Jason from Jason versus Freddy is so intimidating. I mean, I just think it's great. Like he towers over anybody he's around. And to me, that's what makes a good slasher movie to me, somebody that can intimidate you. We'll go back to like Scream, how John loves Scream. And like I've told him before, the Scream movies, they're good, they're very realistic. But for me to sit here on the couch and watch it and seeing like a 5'9" guy that weighs maybe $150 running around wreaking chaos on people and just can do it, it's not intimidating for me.
Yeah,
Jason is.
And the guy that plays Jason, Kane Hodder, like in the newer movies, Kane Hodder, he's just so like when you see him from afar, I've been so blessed to meet him, and before you meet him, you think he's such a big guy, he looks so intimidating, but he is so cool when you just walk up and talk to him.
Never met him, but I've seen other movies with him in it. I like him as Jason, of course, and I can tell which one's him by the scars that he actually has. But he also played for Ed Gein in an old movie. Kane Hodder has actually done quite a bit of behind the mask type movies.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that funny how some people like do that? Like there are people who are really good behind the mask, but don't really ever, make it with their face on the camera and stuff, or at least very often. There's
not only has he played other people behind the mask, but he's also been stunt man for like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies.
Yeah, but I'm referring to other people, other actors, like the guy who plays Smeagol from the Lord of the Rings. He's also the guy that plays the gorilla from the Planet of the Apes series. Like it's funny how that kind of happens. Like actors kind of get good behind a mask or like using their face differently than just their actual face. I just thought it was.
But I could understand it though. I mean, some people rock it behind the scenes. I mean,
yeah.
It's like myself. I don't really particularly like being on camera. Yeah. I can sit there and talk to you all day long about, hey, we should do this, that, and the other. But when it comes to this, it's just not natural for me. And
I force you to do it.
Yes.
Which, unlike, I'm sorry to say, JD, which is totally different from how Scream does. Like the people, because it's someone else all the time being under the ghost face mask, and you don't know who it is until they reveal themselves, and some of them are.
I like that too, like a whodunit. Where you're trying to guess who the killer is. That's what I kind of like.
It's fun to sit there and try to figure it out.
Yeah, and I'm a huge Wes Craven fan. Like I mean, Freddy, the Nightmare on Elm Street is arguably my favorite of, at least of the old school, at least of the big three. Of the Halloweens, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. I would go with Nightmare on Elm Street every time. So I'm a huge Wes Craven fan. So that's why I think I also like the Screams. I like his style. I like his directing style. And especially the first three Screams, maybe not so much on the third one, but the first three Screams are just some of the best Halloween movies I've ever watched. At least more modern day, the Freddys, the Jasons, except for the remakes, were all old style slasher movies. Scream was really one of the first modern day slasher franchises that we got.
I would feel remiss if I know we're trying to talk about the Friday the 13th movie. I would feel remiss. They also did the shitty TV series of the Scream too. It was just so shitty.
Yeah, we're gonna do well next year. We're doing the Conjuring series, but we may double up on franchises next year because I'm itching to do the Scream series, and now that Mike has joined Mayhem Media, he's a huge Scream fan also. So we're kind of itching to do the Scream series. So next year we might be doing a dual series. Next year we're doing the Conjuring and possibly the Screams.
They've also had a series for Freddy's stories or something back in the day, back in the late 80s, early 90s, which I didn't watch it. I didn't have cable. And I believe they had a Friday 13th as well. Almost done like
I don't know if that was about Jason though. I think it was a
Friday. It wasn't. It was like an anthology type thing, like was a creep show and stuff like that. It was just different stories, kind of like how Halloween was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I just never showed interest in it because it didn't have those characters in it.
Yeah. And the TV shows were lower production, especially back in that day and time too. It's not like
it was more like Tales of the Crypt and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's not like TV series now where TV show or series, series are more like long extended movies than they are like a series. It's more like a 10-hour movie than 10 episodes. The way TV is now, but that's not the way it was back then. All right, we were talking about the worst Jasons, so we're going to talk about that for a minute. I don't think, based on the visual, you're going to need to guess at what my vote for the worst Jason ever is, and I want to hear your guys' as well.
All right, so I will tell you, it's close, but Jason X is the worst one. I'm sorry.
No, that's the other visual. I knew that was where the debate was. I can't believe I didn't get a Jason X visual, but
Jason X is so terrible. I mean,
I knew
growing up in the 90s and 2000s, we had all these shows that was similar, like Andromeda and stuff like that, which was cool, but not for a Jason movie. Now, it had a decent concept, and I understand why they were doing it, just because that was the fad at the time. But Jason Takes Manhattan, I remember it so well just because I don't think I ever watched it when I was younger. And we had what was called a movie gallery, which was our video store, because we didn't have Blockbuster. So every time I went to the movie gallery, they didn't have it. It was just empty case, So finally I rented it and I took it home, and then we still had the VHS. And I was like, can't wait to watch this. Started off there on the houseboat. Jason gets drugged by an anchor, and the electricity brings him back. I'm like, okay, I can deal with this because I'm young. I don't care.
And also, based on what happened previous, you have to be willing to accept some of that premise.
Right. So I'm just sitting there, and I'm just waiting for it to get good. And it just didn't. Like, Jason walking down the streets of Manhattan kicks the dude's radio, and he's like, hey, motherfucker, and Jason just turns around and lifts up his mask. Like, it reminded me of something like Beetlejuice, like the eyes would pop out the tongue and all that shit. And it was just horrible. I mean, But then you have Jason X. Jason X was terrible. It's like Terma Jason.
Yes. Those are Mike. Let's get you in here, man. Join in the misery. What's your vote? Is it Friday the 13th Part 8, or is it Jason X, or do you have a different vote?
Jason X. It's got to be Jason X. It was the worst one. I rented it from Blockbuster. I got about halfway through it. I took it out of the VCR. I didn't even finish it. It was just so.
See, the reason and I'm gonna listen. The reason I ain't gonna pick Part 8 over Jason X is because I did not have too much of a problem with Jason X until he became Super Jason.
Yeah,
with the nano probes and stuff. That was the end.
I have to say that now that I've thought about it a little bit more, Jason Goes to Hell was worse than Jason Takes Manhattan.
Really?
Yeah, you think about it, it's just this little thing crawling around, getting into people's body. You really don't see Jason throughout the whole movie until only in the beginning when he gets blown up, and at the end when he's fighting somebody with the cursed dagger. So, I mean, the last few movies just sucked badly.
Yeah.
I mean,
after you get to the first 4 or 5, what you said, when they actually kill Jason for real, that's when it's like that. Like that's when it starts getting bad. As soon as you start killing him off and then having him resurrected because of lightning strikes.
I think Jason Lives, which should have been the last one, like where he came back as the Revenant. Because I mean, we still need that Revenant Jason, but after destroying him or whatever at the end of the movie, that should have been it. That should have been like, you know what? They put the chain around his neck. They sunk him at the bottom of the lake, basically looking like that.
Yep.
And they should have ended it right there, because they could have opened it up for anything later in the future and just stopped it right there.
Yeah.
And just waiting for a good idea.
Mike, what do you say?
Oh, I had a whole different question, and now you've thrown. Okay.
Well, what's your question then? You don't have to comment on what we were just talking about. What do you bring something else to the table?
We've been talking about Wes Craven, Freddy, and all that. I know we talked about it a little bit already, and we know how the movie ends. But in the movie Freddy versus Jason, who were y'all going for? Were y'all going for Freddy, or were y'all going for Jason?
Freddy, of course, Freddy.
I was going for Jason. He was more of the hero in the movie, so I was like, yeah, Jason.
No, Jason's a pussy. Freddy's got him. Freddy,
but Freddy was sitting there fighting like he was Jackie Chan or something. I mean, he was a goddamn janitor.
I know. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It was funny to watch. I mean, but for a minute I was like, oh man, Freddy knows some moves, and I was like, how does Freddy know some moves?
Exactly.
Like Freddy was all big and bad until he got brought into out of the dream world and into their world.
Exactly. That's the whole point, though. That's why I'm saying that's why Freddy owns Jason, at least especially in the dream world. He had to bring.
I mean, Freddy held his own in the real world, though. I mean, he really did.
Yeah.
He wasn't as weak as he was in the other movies when they bring him out and he's like fighting him in a bat with a nail in it, hurt him. I mean, he was standing his own against Jason. Jason Voorhees is like juggernaut. I mean, he's unstoppable.
Yeah.
Those little slashes from the glove really didn't hurt Jason at all. It was no way Freddy could win in the real world, but it was a good fight.
Yeah, no, and I think that was the part of what made I mean, yes, it was cool to watch Freddy and Jason like have a fight sequence. Yeah, that was cool. But I think it was better the way Freddy dominated him in the dream world and used water to like turn him into a baby, and like the way he was using the dream world against Jason. As soon as they got to the real world, I do agree. Jason should just mop the floor with Freddy. Freddy should not have stood a chance in the real world. He's never, ever been powerful once he gets brought into the real world. He's always in like a weakened state. Furthermore, when you bring anytime, and you can check this, anytime you've brought Freddy Krueger into the real world, he is a gigantic pussy. He is. I call Jason the pussy, but really in the real world, Freddy becomes a real wimp in the real world.
Well, Freddy, though, I mean, you got to think about it. Freddy was into that S&M and hurting yourself with the belts and all that shit. He cut himself. He was into the pain. So that's the way I was able to say, yeah, he could take that blow. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But once again, who really, except for Freddy Krueger, could you put against Jason? You couldn't do Michael Myers. Michael Myers, even though he's my favorite, he's just a human being. And anybody could say, oh, he's come back from explosions and getting shot and all that stuff. Yeah, but he didn't go against Jason. Jason would have just crushed him.
I don't know.
He couldn't go against
Robbie.
Say what?
Michael Myers and Jason. That might be a good fight.
No, I mean, Michael Myers is just a normal dude. I mean, that's like me trying to fight Jason. I mean, it's no difference. I mean, Michael Myers just got a little bit of strength.
I'd pay money to see that too. I'd watch you throw down on Jason. My money's on you, bro.
I would feel remiss if we didn't talk about. I know we're talking about the movies, but what did you? I don't know if either one of y'all played it, but if you did, or have you watched the trailer for
video games? No, I've never played any of the horror video games. I could never bring myself to do it.
Okay, that was gonna be my question.
All I ever played was the original Nintendo game, and I couldn't play it worth the shit. I watch people playing it; it seems interesting the way they play it, but I just could never do it. Same thing with the Freddy. I played the original Nintendo game, but couldn't get through it. I know they came out with one for the Xbox and all that stuff. I was interested in it, but when I found out it's strictly online, you only have so much shelf life for it. So I don't buy something that's strictly online. So
yeah,
like I said, like I said, I would just feel remiss if we didn't at least bring it up.
Yeah. I think the problem with horror video games is that you can't really translate what the horror movies, like why people are interested in horror movies, to a video game. Not the same way. You just can't do that. I played some video games that have made me, maybe jump or something if I turn all the lights off and stuff, especially a zombie game. The right zombie game might get me in, that kind of excitement on the edge of my seat, something. But when it comes to Freddy and Jason, they're too iconic. I think that's the problem with that, is that they're so iconic. And not.
I don't think we're that far away from it, dude, to tell you the truth. With AI the way it is. And I'm not really all that excited about AI. I think AI has gotten kind of scary. If I can't watch a video and tell if it's real, it freaks me out.
How have you guys have? It's like nobody's ever seen the Terminator. It's like you guys have never seen it,
right? But with these video games used properly, AI could actually make a perfect villain. Like, I mean, if you wanted to do Jason, they could use AI with the learning capabilities of the way you play.
Yeah,
they could do it.
See, that's some scary shit right there. Okay, that's what I'm saying. And me and Mike,
maybe that's why it's called a horror game.
Yeah,
it's scary in real life.
yeah. Me and Mike are going to talk about AI after we end this episode. Mike's face just went white. It's okay. He thinks he's going to get yelled at, but he's not.
All right. So, what did y'all think about the burlap sack?
I think it was good. I think it was a good debut for him. Like you said, the hockey mask and the way they did the hockey mask in the next movie, I thought was also good. I think the sack was because of necessity. He didn't want people to see his face. And I think the sack was just out of necessity. He saw it, he grabbed it. It was something he could put over his face. It was more about he just wanted to cover his face than what it looked like. And
I agree. And I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of it. I understand why it's just one eye hole, because different variations of him having his mask off, he has one eye lower than the other. But it would have been cool to have a little bit more features in the burlap sack. But I think, I mean, if a towering dude stood up to me with a fucking sack on his head, that would be intimidating. I actually like the sack.
Yeah, me too. I think they got off of it really because I think it reminded people too much of like I think it looked too much like a scarecrow.
Right.
What the deal was, and that's why they needed to get him off the burlap sack, because he looked too much like a scarecrow and not like the villain they wanted him to look like. So the mask was an improvement in terms of making Jason a villain, but it also removed, I think, that kind of mystique that the burlap sack gave him, because it's just a sack. That's scary. Watching somebody just with a potato sack on their head come around the corner, you are going to turn around and run.
Hell yeah. Also, I think it's crazy that two of the biggest names, because you like Freddy Krueger, I mean, but two of the biggest actors from those times was like Kevin Bacon and Johnny Depp. All right. And both were either on Freddy or Jason. Like Kevin Bacon was in the first Friday 13th, or I think it was the first one. And Johnny Depp was in the first Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, that's right.
You got Corey Feldman, which, I mean, I know everybody makes fun of him now, but he was in some damn good movies.
Yeah, he's a good actor. He's a good actor. He was in some good movies. And
you got Crispin Glover that played in like Back to the Future and stuff like that. He was in them. I mean, horror movies started some of these people's careers.
Absolutely.
And back in the day, they were just looked at as trash movies. And now they're some of the biggest movies to be put out other than Marvel.
Yeah. Really, except for Marvel, Halloween movies is really the only other thing that Hollywood is actually spending serious dollars in and making big production movies. Mike?
Exactly.
Also, I have a question for both of y'all. What do y'all think about how Jason started with the axe or whatever he started with, and now and later in the movies he eventually got his iconic machete?
Well, I like how versatile Jason has been throughout all of it.
I agree with
Because
that.
he's used axes, he's used spear guns, he's used his machete, he's used his bare hands, which to me is more scary than anything. I mean, when you got somebody that can sit there and crush you with their hands.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't really know what to tell you. I like that he was versatile. The only thing I don't like is that they made it at one point like it was his pacifier. Like that machete was his pacifier. Somebody has my machete. Let me go get my machete. And that was where it lost me.
Yeah. I also didn't like that he had this, oh, it's my machete kind of a thing when they did that in the movies either. I also like the earlier movies because even when he got the machete, then in the third movie, he didn't just only use the machete. Like Robbie said, I mean, he used whatever tools were at his disposal. And I think that's what worked for Jason more than having a machete was that he could just do whatever he wanted. He just used whatever was there, whether it was his bare hands or a knife or a pitchfork or a stick, or he just picked up someone in a sleeping bag and swung them into a tree until they were,
which is one of the best kills in the franchise.
You've never seen that. You're never going to see that, dude. That are you kidding me? Yeah, it's iconic because you're seeing it and you're like, oh my. Because every single person as a kid has thought, hey, I can close my little brother up in here, grab it and swing him around. But no one's ever thought that, what if you do that? Like, what if there was a grown man that was strong enough to do that to another grown person, just swing them into a tree or up against a wall, man?
Now, I want to tell you, I know you said you never seen the 2007 Friday 13th.
Yeah.
But one of the greatest things they did about that movie is he was living underground in caves, basically. He had tripwires all over the camp where if you hit this tripwire, a bell would ring under there and he would know where you were. Okay. Jason, everybody makes fun of Jason. He's just walking. How does he catch you? If you watch these movies, Jason runs like a bat out of hell. I mean, he chases these people. He doesn't just walk. And they showed that in the 2007 Friday 13th. You were talking about the kill with the sleeping bag. Yeah. One of the greatest things that I saw in the 2007 film that I liked is he started using people as bait. Like he's totally put an axe in the back of somebody's back, left him out there screaming because other people would come for him.
Yeah, interesting. I'm gonna have to watch the remake.
He hung a dude up inside of a sleeping bag over the campfire while it was burning.
Oh my.
And I mean those are pretty good kills. I mean, Jason, out of all of the horror movie people, and I'm going to keep Art the Clown out of it because Art the Clown is in a place of his own. If you haven't watched those movies, if you don't like gore porn, don't watch it. But Jason has the best kills out of all these slasher movies. And once again, I'm a Michael Myers fan, and my favorite kill that he did is in the first movie with just stuck the dude to the wall and just stared at him and moved his head. But Jason, he puts an art to it.
Yeah, you're right about that.
And you gotta, even not liking the movies that much, you gotta kind of respect what they did with them.
Absolutely, Mike.
I was gonna say y'all were talking about the different kind of kills Jason and others have done. I was gonna ask Robbie, what did you think about the one kill in the Freddy versus Jason? It was towards the end of the movie where they're back at the Camp Crystal Lake, and Jason just flings that girl against the tree and she's just dead when she hits the tree.
See, I don't like kills like that. So it's kind of like what I call the Spider-Man jump. If you watch the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans, he never really jumps to use his web. You could tell he's on a string and they just pull him. And when they do what I call the Looney Tune crap, and that's what that is. Like when he hits them so hard, they go against the tree and they just die. It just reminds me of Wile E. Coyote. I like the stuff like when people are running and they look behind them and they don't see him, and then all of a sudden he's like, they bump into him. or they're resting behind a tree, and all of a sudden you see the machete come and just slit their throat. Sometimes the most simple stuff is more effective than what they try to do with the all the special effects and stuff.
Yeah, I think some of the simple kills where you just throw somebody against a tree or up against the wall or something, if that's done right, it can be shocking. Like it can be, oh dang, like that kind of a reaction. But it's got to be like quick. It can't be a drawn out scene or anything like that. I use Game of Thrones and the mountain scene when he throws the maester, just pushes him and just crushes his skull against the wall. You're just like, oh. Like, you know what I mean? We didn't see a whole lot of that in the show. It was just one of those. I think something like that works if it's done right, but you can't overdo it, and it can't be overly done in the scene. It's got to be just a simple, oh, he pushed him, and oh, he ran into the spike into a tree or something. You know what I mean? Like something like that.
Now, I will say that it would be cool, even though I'm tired of remakes and reboots and all this stuff, it would be cool with the technology that we have now versus the technology we had for Jason versus Freddy, for them to make a darker tone Jason versus Freddy that's less comedic. I mean, they can have the comedy for Freddy, because Freddy is meant in a way to he's more evil when he's able to talk shit.
Yeah.
But it was like watching Jason versus Freddy, and the dude that smoked weed all the time. He's seeing the worm from Alice in Wonderland and shit. It loses me and stuff like that. So I believe they would go a little bit more gritty, a little bit darker, and actually make this a respect the franchises and be able to do these movies. I think we could get a damn good movie out of it.
Yeah, I think so too. Mike, what about you? What about the kill scenes? Question you just posed to us about the kill scene and stuff. What about you? What do you think about that?
Like, I think the kill should make sense. Like, it shouldn't be too easy for Jason to kill you, or like, and it can't just look stupid or anything. It has to look good and for people to understand the kill.
I would agree with that as well.
I like when they lead up the stuff. I mean, that's what makes the movie. Like, I can't remember which
fan.
Say again?
That's why you're a Michael Myers fan.
Right. But I mean, they did it with Freddy though. I mean, with Jason though. I can't remember which movie it was, but it was one that the camp was actually open and had kids there. And Jason's walking through the building with the kids, and I can't think of the name of the houses they sleep in. But anyway, all the kids are asleep there. One of the girls are awake, and you're sitting there, and you're like, he's going to kill this little chick. And I mean, that lead on, to me, that's the scary part of these horror movies back in the day. It wasn't the actual kill that scared you. It was all the lead ups. And that's why they do so many false leads in movies now. I mean, when you heard certain music like the Jaws theme, or the Freddy Krueger 1, 2, Freddy's Coming for You, or when you were hearing you knew something was about to happen. Now, if you watch a horror movie, you're like, they're just trying to lead you up to it. And then every movie's the same. It tries to lead you up to it, and then finally it happens. And after it happens at one time, it's always you're going to get hit. You know that. Back in the day, you just never knew what was going to happen, and I think that made movies greater back then.
Yeah, I think so too. But I think that's why I like the Screams a little bit, and that's why I like the story of the Screams, and that, like, the story within the story, how they talk about horror movies and there's rules and stuff, and then the Screams kind of break those rules to usher in a new genre of horror. That's why I think I like the Screams so much, because it was acknowledging how in the real world slasher movies cannot be done the way they used to. You have to adapt and evolve, because once people see it a couple times, you have to come up with something different if you want that same kind of reaction or to solicit that same kind of emotion. I think the Paranormal Activities ran into the same problem, actually.
I couldn't watch those past like the second or third.
Yeah, I know you're not going to be doing the Paranormal Activities when we do that one. That's why we're holding off on that one yet. But we are going to be doing the Paranormal Activities, probably not until 2027 or 2028, because 2026 is definitely going to be The Conjuring, and it's also going to be potentially the Screams. So, all right. Anybody else wanted to address anything else about the Jasons before we get ready to close out of this episode?
I had one last thing I wanted to discuss. I wanted to ask both y'all, do y'all think the Jason Friday the 13th movies played a big part in pop culture and like for like the Halloween time of year for people to like, do you think more people would choose to dress up as like Michael Myers during Halloween?
Well, to be honest, I mean, he's he's a pop icon either way. It's just like Freddy Krueger being on Oprah Winfrey show. Yeah, he's a big influence. When it comes to people dressing up as Jason, to be honest, they made the Jason mask back in the day, like, the little glow in the dark mask, so accessible and cheap. We couldn't afford anything else but a Jason mask when I was growing up sometimes. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of people that's been Jason, and most kids, like my son, has never watched a Jason movie in his life, but he knows who Jason is, and he knows that's a Jason mask. So, I mean, he's definitely a pop icon.
I would also agree with Robbie. I think all of the horror villains are essentially pop icons at this point. I think even the next generation of it. I mean, Ghostface is clearly a pop culture icon. So is the little dummy from the Jigsaw and the lab. Like it all becomes iconic. After, like, as soon as you have something, it's going to become iconic. And I think both Jason, Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, I think they were the grandfathers of Halloween, of horror, and
the Mount Rushmore of horror movies.
Yeah, they 100%. They are the Mount Rushmore of horror movies, and I think that without them, you don't have anything that we have today. I don't think we have the Conjuring series. We definitely don't have the Paranormal Activities. We don't have the Saw series. You could make the argument about the Candymans. Like there's a lot of movies I don't think you have without these originals.
This will be my closing thing. You were talking about the Scream. Like Scream is still so popular because they're still making the movies till this day. Like they're about to come out with a new one.
Yeah, I know, but we're gonna tear that apart when we do it with the Scream series next year, because the first three were great, and the second three we'll have more discussion on.
Right.
But that's my opinion. I mean, it's just like with the Freddys and the Jasons and the Mike Myers and Robbie. I don't know if you agree with this or not. They at some point they just keep making them to make money, but people are going to stop. We want the story. So bring the story around, bring it full circle, and then close it out. And then if you want to reignite it or try and do something later, maybe. But
that's I feel you on that.
That's always my problem with horror movies. What about you, Robbie?
Michael and I was just talking about it, and it's been said many times, I'm a Michael Myers fan, but there are so many of them, just like there's so many Friday 13th. But for me, the timeline stops after like the fifth one. You understand what I'm saying? And that's when they start getting kind of shitty. And people are like, oh, I like H2, I like Resurrection. Yeah, but I mean, they were movies to watch, and they're decent movies, but they don't hold up to what they were. Most people disagree for some reason, don't understand it. But I thought the Rob Zombie Halloween movies were refreshing because they were a new take on Michael Myers. Michael Myers was more brutal, all that stuff. So I liked those. It was a while between H2O and the Rob Zombie movies. So I was good with that. Yeah. And then when the 2018 came out, I was excited as hell to see Laurie fight Michael again. And then they did the 3, and I was like, all right, they did good until the third one. The third one kind of sucked. But
again.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, because the first Halloween in 2018 was amazing. I was like, okay, they brought this shit back. Halloween Kills was just a continuance of the first movie, basically. And then part 3 came out, and they had this dude acting like he wants to be the next Michael Myers, and it was stupid. But, I mean, there has to be an end at one point or another, and you can't treasure something that you like if it never ends. It's hard to go back to these movies when you have one coming out next year from 50 years of movies. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's oversaturation.
Yep.
Yep.
I completely agree with that. I think the problem is that we need to get off some of these remakes. We've done it now. I mean, I've always wanted to see a good, real remake of Freddy Krueger, because we didn't get to see what the original Freddy Krueger character was supposed to be for many different reasons. We talked about that in the episode. Go watch the episode that we did, the Nightmare on Elm Streets, because we actually talk about that. But I always wanted to see a dark one. I thought the remake of the Nightmare on Elm Street with Jackie Earle Haley playing Freddy Krueger was great. I wanted to see 2 or 3 of those, but I would have wanted it to end. I certainly didn't want to see a remake. Like, I didn't want him to go 7 or 8 movies, a nice trilogy. There's nothing wrong with a nice trilogy if it's done right. So, but I think we kind of got to get off it a little bit, don't we?
We do. And I mean, that Freddy Krueger was not the worst Freddy Krueger, the remake. I didn't care for him as Freddy.
I thought he did good.
I didn't care for the look. I think the voice and everything was great. I didn't like the look. And I think they were kind of lazy I think they rushed the movie too much. You really didn't. It was kind of like watching Freddy versus Jason. It was just like they just put it on the screen because they knew they were going to make money. They didn't put their heart in it.
Yeah, you're right. It was a little bit more like production, but I thought he made a great Freddy Krueger, and I would have wanted to see more of him as Freddy.
I could have dealt with him as Freddy Krueger. I think the special effects is what gets me with certain looks.
I kind of like the burned up face. I also kind of like the way he kind of added, although maybe he didn't, actually thinking about it now. But Jackie Earle Haley kind of like slid his fingers together to make the scissors kind of rub against each other a lot. But now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure Robert Englund did the same thing in 1 or 2 of the Freddy
did.
In the day.
I mean, I didn't think dude did bad. I really don't. It's just that I think the movie itself was not good.
Yeah. I think remakes, I think we got to get off remakes. I think it's time for some fresh ideas. That's why next year we're going to do the Conjuring series, even though it's based on true stories and stuff. It's actually, it's not a regurgitation of Jason and Freddy and Michael Myers. So,
we're getting an oversaturation of those as well.
Oh, dude, there's too many of those, and I don't want to get into that. That's for next year, but I will have plenty. I will have plenty to say about plenty of the movies in the Conjuring series, because the whole series is available on, I think it's Max right now, and I've been watching through them, and I was expecting to enjoy the shit out of this series, The Conjuring. Okay, I was expecting to, because I love the first Conjuring, and I think the second Conjuring is also really excellent. I have been watching. I went back and watched them chronologically, the timeline, according to the timeline, and I've been trying to. Man, The Nun is one of the. Oh man, I'm sorry. The Nun and The Nun 2. They're really hard to get through. They're really
They
hard.
really are, and I mean, it's probably because of licensing, but it's even Annabelle. To me, the thing that made Annabelle scary with the stories that I remember reading when I was younger before these movies came out was the fact that it was a Raggedy Ann doll. You understand what I'm saying? It was an innocent looking thing. And then they have to make it this creepy porcelain doll. To me, it makes it less scary.
Yep. And also, I don't like how, I mean, I get it, because the Conjuring people wanted the origins of the Conjuring series. And I probably should have just watched them in order of release date, not in order of timeline.
No, you need to do the timeline. I think the timeline's better, buddy.
Really? Because I think the fact that I know that it's a demon named Malachi is a turnoff. I already know. Now I'm bored.
Right.
Now I'm bored.
Yeah.
I was more interested in it when I was trying to figure out what the hell was going on with Annabelle. That was more interesting to me, trying to figure out what is going on or what was happening, than to just be like, oh, well, now I know it's Malachi. I don't care. That's boring.
I got you.
I do understand what you're saying, and that's why I watched it chronologically and not in release order, but in terms of the timeline. That's why I watch things like that, because I do want to get the whole story from beginning to end. But I was really disappointed to, like, again, maybe it's just the Nun and Nun 2. I'm really hung up on those. I haven't been able to make it past that. So maybe when I get into some of the other ones, like the Annabelles and back to the Conjurings and stuff like that, maybe they'll get better. But I'm telling you, man.
Well, the problem that I have is the Conjuring. The first Conjuring movie was terrifying. I mean, it was done well.
Yeah.
It's probably, in my opinion, between the Conjuring and the first Insidious movie, was the creepiest movies that came out in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Okay. I was a grown man when The Conjuring came out, and I remember this back when I used to smoke cigarettes. I would go outside at night, smoke a cigarette on my front porch, and I would not turn my back from the wall because, I mean, it makes you think, and especially if you're religious or anything like that. I mean, that stuff seems so real because they talk about that stuff in the Bible and stuff.
Yeah, that's why I like the Paranormal Activities, because they got to me as an adult. That's why I think I like those, because they actually got to me. Like I was actually on the edge of my seat. I was, yeah, man. The first couple of those really, like, I was interested in those. They had me right on the edge of my seat.
Well, I mean, I understand why they do the Ed and Lorraine Warren movies the way they do. It's like Annabelle once again. Annabelle doesn't have a backstory other than a nurse got her as a gift from her mother. Okay. Yeah. All this other stuff, when Annabelle comes home, Annabelle creation, all this stuff, that was actually made up just for a movie.
Yeah.
Annabelle Higgins did not exist. All this stuff, not if she did, it didn't exist like this movie said. So I mean, they take
liberties
with it, and which I'm glad they do, because I've read so much on certain stuff that, you know, it's almost like you've already watched the movie anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we just need original shit. I mean, we could have, I mean, I don't know how original you can get with more slashers. And I brought them up before. The most recent slasher that I think of is the Art the Clown. Last year, I got on a fix on watching those because it kept on popping up. So I sat through them, and they're difficult to watch. I mean, they're hyper realistic on some parts, torture, all this stuff. And I'm like you, I have to know the history. So I even went beyond Terrifier and started watching All Hallows Eve and all that stuff just to see where it was created, because it's actually a great concept. And Art the Clown is the new icon. I don't care what anybody says. Even though I would not watch any of those movies again just because the blood and gore.
Yeah,
they deserve to be where they are.
Interesting. We'll have to make sure we check them out too. We include them in an episode.
I'll put them up there with Jason, Freddy, and Michael, honestly.
Yeah, that's interesting. I will definitely have to check that out, and I got to watch the remake of Jason. I'm actually going to see if it's available anywhere. We do have probably early next year, we'll have some, it's not really horror, but some other kind of that's similar lines. I'm going to be reviewing the Fear Street movies from Netflix. Buckle up for that one. That one's going to be a loaded episode, because I'm going to tear those movies apart. All of them. I'm going to tear them to the ground.
I'm going to have to rewatch them before we do that. I enjoyed those movies. They were actually pretty good, but I've never read the books. So.
That's why you enjoyed the movies. And the reason that I don't.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm the same way. I love books. I hadn't read those, but I was the same way with Ready Player One. Ready Player One was my favorite book at one time. Watching the movie, it ruined the movie for me, but the movie is still pretty good.
Yeah. Mike, do you know about R.L. Stine and Fear Street? Goosebumps?
Yes, I do.
Well, we're going to be doing that. We're not doing that one for Halloween. That one's not being saved for Halloween because I'm not sitting on my hands that long because I watched the Fear Street. I'm a huge fan of R.L. Stine and the Fear Street books. I was even a little bit I was at the tail end of the Goosebumps. I was almost grew out of them. I grew out of them very quickly after I found them, but the Goosebumps as well. And I am unhappy with the movies. So we will have that coming up in 2026. So that'll be fun for any of our any horror followers or that kind of genre fans or viewers who are watching. We'll be doing another one in probably February is when I'm planning to shred the Fear Street movies apart. Next year, we're going to be doing The Conjuring. That gives everybody who's watching and all of Mayhem Media a chance to catch up on all the movies. So that's what we're going to be doing for next year. Normally, we don't always pick what we're going to do for next year, but this year when we were debating and discussing, we decided this year, Jason, next year, The Conjuring. So next year is going to be The Conjurings. And we also have lots of other stuff coming up for Mayhem Media between now and Christmas, including the Christmas episode. So make sure you stay tuned to Mayhem Media for that. We got football episodes coming up. We likely have an episode of Mayhemtainment coming up before we get to Christmas. And we have the Christmas episode. The Media Maverick himself is going crazy with content. So he films an episode every day. So make sure you just stay tuned to Mayhem Media so that you can just watch his episodes whenever he releases them. And he's kind of being the workhorse for us right now while the Call for the Bell is going too. So, we also got Call for the Bell. That's for wrestling content. So, we got a lot of stuff happening in Mayhem, a lot of content being produced. So make sure you enjoy it and please share it out. Leave a comment, hit the like button, help us continue to grow the brand. Check out the storefront if you want to support us further. Bonfire.com/store/Mayhem Media Shop. We have a lot of stuff and we have a lot of new stuff coming between now and Christmas also. So, it doesn't hurt. Some of the stuff would make great Christmas gifts, especially some of the new stuff that we're adding to the storefront. We got bags, we got yard signs. We're going to be adding, they call them something different, but they're basically fanny packs. Just maybe not quite as big. I think they're called the hip packs or something on the storefront, but they're basically fanny packs. So we have a lot of stuff. Plus, we have all the diamond apparel. We are licensed to sell Austin and Scott Diamond apparel, the Diamond Cartel. So we are licensed to sell their gear. So check out the storefront and check out some of the new Diamond Cartel gear as well. And remember, everything helps. So even if you can't buy, share it out. Yep. Mike, anything I'm missing? Did I get everything?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, Robbie, anything for you?
I'm good, bud.
All right, well then we're gonna close out. This has been our final episode of the 2025 Mayhem Halloween special. So I hope you've all enjoyed it. This is the third of our 3 episodes. And until next time, probably next week or something, we'll see you again. Till then, for our graphic artist, Robbie H., a.k.a. Ecto Mayhem, and the Media Maverick, Mike Weldon, I am your host, JD. And
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. That's the end.